Howdy, Patrick here. 8 questions with have Cheetah will view, and we are here on a Friday. That's right. Yep. We're here for a Friday show, and we are actually we're actually interviewing a YouTube creator, content creator. We are talking with Shelly from the channel Repurposed My Way, and Shelley is a remarkable creator, both on YouTube and in her real life. She is her channel repurposed her my way is that's what she does. She goes out and she finds various items from all over, and then she fixes them up and invests a lot of time and effort into restoring them, and then she turns around, she sells them to other folks who would like to buy her the work of her skill set. I mean, her skill set is amazing. Hey, Cruz, how are you? Hey, Jaden, how are you? Glad you guys are here. Um, so I've watched a few of Shelley's videos, and both creatively and haul wise, and it's a lot of fun watching. I have to admit, we had the first time I ever heard of a repurposer was a lady who was on HGTV, and they made a TV show out of her. And it also happened to be that her shop happened to be in the same town that me and my wife lived in at the time, and we would actually go down to her shop and we would see what her and her staff would be working on. Hi, Mayanne, how are you? Glad you're here. Glad you're here. Um, yeah, we're going to be doing something really different today. We're not interviewing an actor or a director or a musician. We are actually interviewing a craftsman, who's someone who does a craft person who repurposes household items, and she fixes them up, paints them, sands them out, de-ages them, depresses them, and she makes them beautiful again. And then she sells them. And we're hoping to see a little, we're hoping to see some of the items that she's done this to. She does haul videos where she'll go out and she'll go to the junkyard, or she'll go to thrift stores or yard sales, and it's actually really remarkable what people will just throw away. And they don't even think about it. They just say, it's an old broken lamp, or it's a little miniature table that doesn't really do anything in the house, and they'll toss them away. And Shelly will find them, and she'll take them home, and she'll turn around and create some magic with it. It's fun to watch. Um, I was watching one of her videos today, and she was working on this. She is already working on a little table, as a little magazine rack, a little wooden, and she was painting it, and she was doing some other things to it. And I just looked at that, and I'm thinking, it's a modern day antique, because who uses magazine racks anymore? There's not who does magazines anymore. There's not that many left. Not really, not like it used to be. So it's like almost like a modern antique, magazine rack. So that was sort of fun to see. So yeah, we were supposed to do this interview during Creators Month, but unfortunately, Shelly and her husband got pretty sick together, and so we had to be patient while they recovered, and they did, and then we have her here. And man, I was so busy that I wasn't even paying attention to some of the stuff that I posted. And Shelly's like, there's a couple of things wrong with the promo. So I went over there. I had to fix it, and I'm glad she had a sharp eye for it, because that's what Shelly has. She has a sharp eye, and so I was able to fix it up. And if you guys scroll up there, there's a link to her channel right above there, and her channel is huge. It is huge. She has almost 8,500 subscribers on her channel. Um, and it's a very active channel at that too. There's a lot of people that go over there and check out her work and watch her videos. She's very well respected in her community. This is my first foray into it. I have not seen anybody do this before on the tube. I'm sure there was. I'm sure if I put in repurposed, I would probably get off a ton of channels, but I just stumbled across her. And then I was just hooked. I was like, all right, yeah. And I knew that I wanted to talk to her. And we had actually asked her last year if she would come and do the show, and she wasn't ready last year. But I told her that I would be waiting and I'd be watching, and we try to do it again when she was ready. And so a year passed, and I came to her and says, I still would very much like to interview you. And this time she agreed. Um, so sometimes that happens that way. Sometimes people aren't. It's a difference between being on camera on your own, doing your thing on your terms. When you have to go out there and do an interview with somebody, or do a podcast on somebody, or TV spot with somebody, it's sort of on their terms. And so it can be a little intimidating sometimes. And I get that. Though Shelley has been interviewed before, because it's one of the questions I asked her. She has been interviewed before, which does not surprise me because of her skill. I'm sure she is a very popular person in her town, and we'll find that out soon enough. While I still got a couple of minutes here, I should let you guys know some changes. See, some things are happening here on the channel. So tomorrow we have two shows. We have two shows tomorrow at 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock here. I will be interviewing Francisco Tesoro. I'm sure I'm killing his name wrong. He is the filmmaker and director and the writer for Friday the 13th, Origins of Evil. And we will be interviewing his cast as well. And that will be at 2 p.m. 2 p.m. here on the channel. And then at 8 o'clock, me and Echo Zero will be here for the House of Horrors. We are guest hosting a House of Horrors for our friend Steven, who is now in Pennsylvania making a movie. So that's pretty exciting for him. And then Sunday at 6 p.m., we will be back here on my channel as ISC Midnights will be tomorrow or on Sunday. We will be covering Backcountry. We're going to be covering Backcountry. That will be Mary Wilson's. That will be her pick. And we welcome everybody to come into the ISC Midnight Show. Our one movie we're going to watch, The Autopsy of Jane Doe, we had to move till July. So July will be Ben's turn to host the show, and he will be doing The Autopsy of Jane Doe. In August, I can already tell you this, in August, we will be taking a look at Hellgate. This will be our choice for August. Hellgate. It's an excellent film and one worth talking about. Okay. Also on the 27th, on the calendar, the 27th, we were supposed to host the band I Am. Unfortunately, that got taken away from us. I'm not sure if that will ever come back, but we're not doing anything on the 27th. On the 28th, we have two shows on the 28th. We will be welcoming back actress Sabrina Culver will be with us on the 28th at 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. And then at 8 o'clock, we'll be interviewing the band Dante HH, Dante's Hellhounds. We'll be interviewing the band Dante's Hellhounds. We'll be here on the 28th. And then on the 29th, we close out the month with actor Alex P. Peters. He'll be here at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. Yeah. And then it's on to July. And we are working hard for July right now. We have some good stuff coming up in July, but I'm still working on the calendar. Hopefully, we'll have that done. I do know that we'll be interviewing a new podcast to us called the Night Watch Podcast. Not the Night Watch Zone, just the Night Watch. The Night Watch will be here with us in July. I know. I have fun with that. Welcome to the Night Watch. Yeah, there's no zone here. It's just the Night Watch. So they'll be one of the guests. We'll also be talking to actor Tyler Gallant. He is a fantastic young actor. He has done a lot of fun things, including starring, and it seems like I almost got the whole cast He also include he's also starred in a movie called Space Wars: Quest for the Deep Star. Now I know you have noticed me saying that movie a lot, but you know what? It's a good movie. What can I say? And Tyler's performance as Wade in that movie is one of the highlights of it. In fact, it's actually a very, very, very good performance. Um, and a lot of credit goes to him. It could have gone. It could have gone normal Hollywood, but it didn't. His role is really something you'll remember if you see the film. Uh, some of the other guests we got coming up. We have a young actress and writer, screenwriter Melanie Gretchen will be with us in July. The beautiful Danny Thompson will be here with us in July. Fantastic artist Amy Kay will be with us from Connecticut. She'll be with us. God, it's been a long time since I've had an artist on. I think since Kevin Stone, actually. Um, so Kevin Stone, and then before that, I think the last artist I had was Griffin Stone. So, and I really didn't get to talk too much about another artist that we had because she's an actress and working artist. And I really didn't get a chance to talk to her about her craft, but I will in a future interview. And what else do we have? Oh, yes, and we'll be interviewing one of our own again. We will be welcoming in our good friend Horror with Haas. He will be coming in doing 8 questions with. So I hope that everybody will come in and support Horror with Haas. And he is scheduled to come in on the 18th of July. That's right. All right. And our guest to be here momentarily in about 5 minutes or so. Yeah. Oh yes, I should mention this too. We did get another high powered guest right before I went on the air. We booked a fantastic makeup artist. Dan Crawley will be with us on actually that will be on a Friday. That will be on a Friday. We're going to be interviewing Dan Crawley. That guy's resume is absolutely 100% sick. That guy has done so much. So many cool movies that he's worked on, doing special effects makeups, creating he's a mask maker, just a costumer. He's just an amazing talent, and he'll be here. His latest film, I think, that came out was Renfield. He worked on Renfield as one of the makeup artists, and he'll be here in July as well. So that's going to be a lot of fun, and we're working on some other things too. We got working on a band from St. Louis called the Centaurites, and if so, we'll have a special co-host for that, making their first appearance on the show. As far as the co-host goes, that'll be a lot of fun. If you feel like helping out, you can go ahead. I thank you, man. I really do bust our ass. We really do. Now we just got to find the audience. But you know what? We're having a lot of fun doing what we're doing. If you guys feel like sharing us out on a Friday, that would be awesome. I really appreciate it. And Shelly will be here momentarily. Um, if you guys want to, drop in the chat there. Tell me what kind of guests that you would like to see here on 8 Questions with. Who would you like to see me talk to? Would you like to see me? Because I'm working on branching out. Like doing an interview with Shelley. This is gonna be a lot of fun. I have never interviewed a repurposer before, so this is gonna be a lot of fun. I'm gonna be trying doing a little bit more podcast interviews, interviewing people from various podcasts. I'm gonna be trying doing that. Um, and I really like doing that because we've so far we've done the Dolls of Horror, which was fantastic, and really like them. And of course, now the Night Watch podcast coming up in July, that will be a hell of a lot of fun too. We've interviewed the Friendly Men, who, by the way, the Friendly Men did drop their interview with Yui Bowl today. And if you go to the Friendly Men channel, which I will drop a link to here in a split second, you can check out that interview. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, I trying to. I love the variety. I do. I like talking to people from all over the place. I think it's a lot of fun. Let's see. Let me go grab James's channel here. Uh, the interview that they did with you is a little different from the one that we did. Um, this is this is actually a very fun interview, and I was really happy to see it because, like I told James, who did the interview, uh, our guest is here. Let me drop James's let me drop James off here. Then I'm gonna go get our guest. So, please welcome our guest. Hey, Echo. Please welcome our guest, Shelley from Repurposed My Way, and let's go get her. Hello. Uh, she was there for a split second. Oh, Killer Ann. It must go with. It must go with. Wait a minute. I thought it was Killer Katie. Killer Katie, and then yeah, and then Killer Ann. Oh boy, here we go. All right. Okay, I guess that one didn't hook up for her. So let me go get another link for our friend Shelly. I think that does happen once in a while. I, I, okay, let me go ahead and get Rabbit. All right. Aha, there she is. Okay. Let's see.
Hello.
Hello,
Hello, can
you
you
there?
hear me?
We can hear you.
You can't see me though.
I can't see you.
Hmm.
Just it might ask you to because your camera's off. Your sound's on. Your sound's
Okay.
working, but your camera's off.
Huh.
Yes, we might have to repurpose my StreamYard. Okay, so we'll see. We'll see if we can get her to. I told her to try opening up in Chrome. Hi, Anna. How are you? Yes. Well, we need more cult people in here. That's what we need. We need more cult people here. That's right. Though I don't, as a habit, I don't do Friday nights as a habit, and I'm working hard to make sure, unless I get you know, like a really big guest, I'm going to be trying to go back to just doing the 3 days, the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I just I had so much going on this month. I just had to put I had to put in some shows off the normal walkway. There she is. Yay!
Finally.
It-
Sorry, guys.
I knew you repurpose it. Okay.
Oh,
My one. That's my one joke of the night. That'll be it. Thank you. Two
oh,
drink
that's
minimum.
it.
Two
You're
drink
all
minimum.
done.
Don't forget to tip your waitress. That's right.
Mic
Be here
drop.
all week. Uh,
Yeah.
I guess the first thing I want to say right away, uh, how extremely talented you are.
Oh, thank you. I
Uh,
appreciate
I
that.
am. I was sitting there watching the videos. I've been watching them since you and I first talked.
Mhm,
I mentioned before you got here that I had actually asked you to do this last year,
mhm. Yeah.
and yeah, and you weren't quite ready for that yet. And I was saying, oh,
Yeah.
that's okay. I'm patient, and then when we came to this year, you were eager. You're saying, yeah, I'll do it.
Yep.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Um, So what happened during that year?
Well,
Did you just
when
gain
you
confidence?
when you asked me, I've been on YouTube for a while. We have another channel. So we've been on lives and been interviewed lots of different times. But I what happened when you asked me was my aunt just got diagnosed with cancer.
Oh,
And we thought that we would have to do a lot more for her than we thought. And my mother also was going to have surgery around the same time. And I thought maybe she would need some help, more help than she does, but she's very independent. So she's hard headed. So I thought there was going to be a lot more going on for me. And there was some, but yeah, it just wasn't a good time. So,
yeah.
but
Caretaking
yeah,
is caretaking is a beast.
yeah.
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 And
Yeah.
how'd your aunt do?
She's still fighting and doing her thing, whatever they need to do. But she's doing well.
Good,
She's
good,
doing well. Yeah.
good.
Yeah. It takes a
I'm
toll.
yeah, yeah, it
You
does.
know, as you know.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna take it down just for a second. There we go. I can't see
uh,
the chat, so I want to be able to
oh,
bring that up.
okay.
Um,
Uh
I have a new phone and an old laptop, so
yeah, I have a phone and a desktop too. I do the interview through the phone, and then I use my monitor for my I use the monitor for the chat.
gotcha. Yep.
Um,
Let's
I
see.
was really impressed, just watching your channel, watching the skill you showed, and it's funny because like my wife and I, we used to love watching HGTV.
Hmm.
Uh, we rarely watched any fictional TV. We always watched like the cooking channel, HGTV, Food Network, that type of thing. History Channel when it used to be good. And so
Hmm.
we used to watch all those. And then on the HGTV, they had before all these. I don't know what happened to HGTV. That's almost unrecognizable these days. But
Yeah.
back when we were around, um, they used to have a lot more hands-on, smaller project shows. And they had this lady who was a repurposer, and
Mhm.
that's what she did. And she went out to different areas, and she would do what you do. You go out and you look for pieces, and then you bring them home, and then you save them. And that
Mhm.
really is how that's is that how you look at it as well? Do you look at it when you find a piece like you're saving it, even though it's an inanimate object, but still it has a personality and a sparkle of its own?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I hate to see things go in the trash if I can do something with it, even if it's broken or cracked or old. It still may have a purpose. So I try to bring that out in it so somebody else can love it. I used to call my what I did rescued, renewed, reloved. And so I would rescue items and renew them and sell them to people that would relove them. So it kind of, I should have named my channel that, I guess. But yeah, that's what I do.
Now, I take it you were doing this way before you started your YouTube channel.
Hmm. Yeah, I've been over 10 years doing this.
Uh, what got you going into it?
Well, I was watching YouTube at one point, and I started watching Michelle's Country Corner, and she did a lot of primitive country decor, and I just fell in love with it. And I started looking around at different places to buy decorations for my home, and it's like, I don't have the money for that. Sometimes it's very expensive. So I would say, you know what, I can build that. And with my husband's help, a lot of the times I could build that. And now I've gotten so I do a lot of things on my own. He still is my go-to guy if I need to know something, but how to do something. But yeah, it's just out of necessity, that there was just not really necessity, but I wanted decor in my home and couldn't afford it, so I would make it.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
When we watched this lady, how she would grab pieces, like she did the same thing. Uh, she would go to thrift stores, or it was really surprising that talking to her staff that, maybe because it was on TV or whatnot, but a lot of things that they got where people were coming up and don't giving them to her, like, hey, I think that she'd like this.
Mhm,
Do you think she'd do something with this? And they would donate it, and they have to sign a waiver saying that they gave it to her, willfully and all that. But a lot of times that's what would happen. And then they show her, going to different estate sales, yard sales, thrift stores. Though I did not see her do what you do, and I think it's cool. And you even go to the landfill.
mhm,
Wow, that is cool. I mean, because that just to me, it's like there's a difference between just a casual, like, okay, I'm gonna go to my local, I'm gonna go to my local Hobby Lobby and look for something, versus someone
mhm.
who's gonna roll out there, get out there, and look for buried treasure, buried pieces that can be saved, and bring them home and do just that.
Yeah.
Um, so much respect for that.
Oh,
Like I said, I mean, just watching you work and watching you describe every piece, you could sense, and I'm sure people see that, and they see how much love and respect you have for the pieces. Do you think that really that helps you when because you sell them, and do you think that really helps you move the pieces that you do create?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. It's, the dump thing, or I call it a dump, but it's a transfer station. It's that, they separate all the things out into, you have your metal pile and your household pile, and then your household bigger, like couches and all that stuff. But there's a lot of things, people will have yard sales and things like that, and they set stuff aside because they don't want it anymore, but they don't really want to throw it away, and people will come by and snag stuff up. So that's usually where I get it. I do go through the metal pile. I have been lately because I've been finding a lot of different good things. I have something here if you want me to show it. I
Love to.
Yeah, I've had something, I went through the metal pile, and there was a big metal trash can, and I thought, "I love that trash can." And, in the trash can inside was some pieces from an old trunk. So I grabbed the pieces. Somebody had, I don't know, taken it apart, and I grabbed this is a corner off from one of the trunks, like, that you'd put on a
Right,
train
right.
or a wagon. I don't know if it's close enough. But I took the pieces in this board. This is a piece of pallet wood that I had from my water catchment that fell apart, and I kept some of the pieces that were straight and looked good. And I added them to it and put a little candle in here to hold for this to hold. And this is one of
Wow.
the things that I did.
Let's
It'll go right
see
on.
how beautifully simplistic that is. I mean, it's so
Yeah,
elegant.
yeah,
It's
it
a
came
rustic.
together.
Was it rustic elegance? Was that what you call it?
I don't know. That's new. I like it.
I like it too.
Rustic elegance.
Now is that a piece that you'll do you separate how do you separate a piece that you will keep, one versus that you'll give away, or versus one that you'll sell? Is it depending on what item you get, and how much money you invest in materials?
Yes, sometimes. If I have a lot of money in it, sometimes it will sit here and I'll just enjoy it for a while. And then I'll sell it maybe for a little less or something. I don't sell my things for a lot of money. I get reprimanded by my friends a lot that I don't sell them a lot uh, for enough money. But I want people to be able to enjoy them like I do. And I do have a hard time. I've had other people ask. I do have a hard time parting with some pieces, but they'll sit here for a while and I'll enjoy them, and then it's time for them to move on to their new homes. So
Sure. Sure,
yeah,
I can get that.
yeah.
Especially if it's a really banged up piece and you come out there and you work hard at it and it takes you, a week or
Mhm,
so to rebuild it. It's not like you turn
mhm.
right around or rush out there and put it in your, like, do you have a consignment shop? Do you like sell your stuff through consignment or you sell yourself through eBay or all the
I
above?
I have an Etsy shop called Pip Berries and Burlap, and I also have a booth at a flea market that's fairly local, and I have filled that up quickly. So I sell things out of both places.
That's yeah. You know what though? I think the fact that you don't sell for a lot, your friends, will say, "Hey, but you
Mhm,
could get double for that." Do you think they
mhm.
missed the point though? They missed the point in that
Yeah.
you used to not be able to afford all those pieces. It's like, why am I
Mhm,
going to turn around and make it so somebody else can't afford it when I was going through that myself, which is why I'm here doing what I'm doing.
mhm.
And it's like to me, it's like it's a no brainer. It's
Yeah.
like I'm gonna sell you what I couldn't have when I was growing, when I had my home or whatnot.
Mhm,
I want to make sure that you have the opportunity to get a really nice piece. And
mhm,
I'm sure you have a lot of repeat customers, without a doubt.
mhm. I
Your
do. Yeah.
your channel is fire. Your channel is fire.
Oh, thanks.
You have 8,500 people in there, and a lot of people sitting there, and I love watch what your haul videos or
Mhm.
your repair. Where do you get more traffic at? People want to see what you bring into repair, or people want to see what you do with it.
People wanna see what I do with it.
Yeah.
My haul videos don't do they do okay. Excuse me. Sorry, got a little cough from when I was sick. Uh, yeah, people wanna see what I do with it,
Yeah,
definitely.
isn't that the coolest thing? And
Yeah.
you do that in your videos. You'll get out there. I love the one I watched. I watched one of your recent ones, and I love that when you grabbed it. He says, "This is a little magazine rack," and I just found that really amusing because I'm going like, "That's almost an antique right here, right now. You don't need to do anything with that because it's an
Yeah, who looks
antique."
at magazines anymore?
Yeah, right. I mean, it's like
Yeah,
it used to be like, yeah, we see those all the time, but now you don't see them anymore. It's like
mhm,
that's an antique. You could probably
yeah.
take that to the road show. Um, uh,
Yeah.
now, when did you first get into restoring? Was this something you did when you were growing up? Uh,
No.
or I know you mentioned 10 years ago,
Mhm.
but is that when you first started 10 years ago, or did you pick up on that earlier when you were growing up?
Well, no, I really wasn't into it when I was younger. I went to a yard sale about it was 10 or 12 years ago. I don't honestly, it just all jumbles together. So I don't really know exactly when I started, but I definitely know it was over 10. And so uh, I went to a yard sale and there was stuff from a barn and there was like a nightstand in there that had bird droppings and it was dirty and I love they call it the bones. I love the bones of it, the shape. There's just certain things that stand out to you. And I just loved it. And I brought it home and I cleaned it up and I said, now I want to paint it. And at the time, I didn't have a lot of different paints. I had a couple different colors from doing my daughter's room and doing my son's room or something. And I just took those two paints and I said, those will go great together. And I just painted it. And I put it on Facebook to sell. And it sold like really quick. And I was so excited to sell my first piece. And so it was just kind of, it was like a bug that bit me and was like, there you go. Been doing it
Um,
ever since.
Now, is it you and your husband? Is it you guys are a team, or does he pretty much leave you alone unless you need him, or do
That
you guys do this together?
Yeah, it we're pretty much he leaves me alone until I say, honey, I need help."
All
Uh,
right.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I mean, he
Um,
will help me if I were to ask. He said he will come and cut things out for me because I do a lot of woodworking too, and he will do that. And yeah, so
Now, you don't have to be specific about this. I'm just gonna it'll be a general question here, but I take it you live in the north. Do you live in the Northeast by chance?
yes.
Okay, I thought so. I was thinking. I
Hmm.
think I don't know if I saw this or heard it or whatever, but I'm thinking. I think she
Hmm.
said. I think she said Maine, but I'm not sure.
Hmm.
Um, but
Yeah.
beautiful. I was going to say because that would be very conducive to what you do because there's a lot of wood, a lot of burlap. There's a lot of farm type of materials that you wouldn't see in like in an urban area.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. Do you think you could do what you're doing in an urban area, or is it better suited for rural?
Um, Maybe not the going to the dump part, because I know a lot of people say they're jealous because they can't do that at their dump. So I because a lot of people get their trash picked up in the on the corner or in front of their house. Uh, and I know a lot of people that will do that, and they'll drive around to people's trash piles
Mhm.
on the side, and they'll grab stuff out of that and redo it. I think I still could as long as there was thrift stores or antique stores or places that I could go in, a Goodwills or whatever, to find things like that. Um, but yeah, the style may change, might change. Like I do primitive country, rustic, a lot of places, like farmhouse and shabby chic and things like that. So it might change if I was in a city or something like that.
Um, yeah, I guess the city stuff. I mean, I live in an urban area, and you're right. Once in a while, like once every other month, I will hear somebody going through trash. And I've
Mm-hmm.
seen it before. I've sat out there and watched my window, and I watched them go through my trash. And I
Mm-hmm.
sit and I wait until I leave, and then I go out there just because I want to see how they left it. It's like if
Right.
they left it a mess, then they won't do that. They won't be able to do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But they've never have. They've always left it in a really, like nothing's on the ground, nothing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In fact, for just to like for a month, I did this. I took my trash out. I put like a couple items on the ground, and I just want to see what would happen. And then one time, I heard them come by, went out there. Sure enough, the pieces I put on the ground were in the trash. So they cleaned up after themselves and after me. Um, I felt like I really wished I could have like talked to him. I say, listen, what are you looking for? If I
Mm-hmm.
got it, I'll put it to the side for you. But
Mm-hmm.
I never really got it because they're so fast.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't like what they're doing.
Yeah.
They hear, I unfortunately I've heard that too. Like, get out of my trash. Have you ever had a negative reaction when you gone out?
Um, no, because I don't pick from people's trash on the side of the road. Um, we don't really have that here. A lot of people take their own trash to the dump or they have somebody come pick it up. So, but I really, I'm trying to think. No, I don't think I've had anything negative. I mean, once in a while, you may get somebody that you paint a piece that they say, you shouldn't have painted that, you should have left it. There's always going to be that back and forth dilemma. Um, they didn't see the piece beforehand, and so there's
Isn't that something you hear when you hear criticism from somebody who's never gone out there outside their house for a day of their life to do what you do, and yet all of a sudden now they're an expert.
yeah, yeah,
I love that. It's just like, yeah. Um,
yeah.
but I've always said this. I'm just curious. I'm just curious. I want to see what you say to this. But do you ever go to estate sales?
I have never been to an estate sale.
Oh, never have.
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. So, because is it just to everything there? Because you have a price point, right? I mean, you want to get things as low as possible, right? So certain
Yeah.
places like that, would just be prohibitive, right?
Correct. I try to find things that are low cost, and then I try to do them as inexpensively as possible so that I can pass that savings on to my customers
Hmm.
so that they can share in loving the piece that I redid.
Yeah, I just love that part, loving
Mhm.
the piece that you built. Um, what are some of the pieces that you have that you worked on? Do you have anything that you can show us lately that you've been working on?
Well, actually, right behind me, this piece here, I don't know if you can see it really well. I can take it down, but it's
Okay,
a window frame that had a bunch of metal cotton on it. It was like a Hobby Lobby piece, and I got it from Goodwill. And if I can get it down without dropping it. And it didn't sell in my booth, so I brought it home and I put some material behind. There's no glass in it. I stamped the material and then I just put some greenery in there and some
really pretty.
twine, stuff like that.
That's really
So,
cute.
see if I can get it in the frame. There we go.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
That's really pretty.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so I think it'll sell now. I think it'll do really well. I have this little clock here. This is an old General Electric clock.
Oh
It's got a little
wow.
drawer. And my granddaughter actually painted it. And then, and she's 5, believe it or not. And then I put it's called decoupage paper, and I put that in there around the clock to make it, because it was just a plain white. So
Right.
the
I love the
lid.
drawers. How did you make the drawers? It looks like it's aged. How did you depress those?
Yep, sandpaper.
Oh wow, look at
Yep,
that.
a little bit of sandpaper, and it's just distressed, so it looks aged, and I just love that look. A lot of people don't. Some people, I
I
shouldn't
think
say
it's
a lot,
brilliant.
but that's another thing. Paint or don't paint, or sand or don't sand. And some
No, I
people
think
don't like that.
it looks definitely authentic. It looks like it came straight from an old settlement building, an old house in the woods.
Yeah,
I
that's what I
yeah,
love.
yeah, me too, me
Yeah.
too. Um, what do you think of places like Hobby Lobby? Are they is there pros and cons to places like that? I heard you mention the Christmas tree shop. You actually have a Christmas tree shop by you? That's
Well, there's
or is that
nothing really close by me, but it's a little bit of a travel. But yeah, we have a Christmas tree shop and a Michael's in the same town in the next state over, which I'm in Maine, so it's in New Hampshire. And I will go over there sometimes and pick up a few things.
my
Um,
wife loved the Christmas tree shop.
yeah,
Yeah, we
yeah.
used to go there a lot. That we used to go there. We used to go Home Goods. That was also a fun place to go to.
Mhm.
Hobby Lobby, Hobby Lobby, okay. Michaels, yeah, I got some glass work there done. They were they, they were they were pretty fair prices, but I
Mhm.
was, we never really, ours was always the art fairs. Um,
Mhm.
go to the art fairs, and that's where a lot of times we get art pieces. Do you do art fairs yourself,
I
Shelley?
did I did start out doing craft fairs and things like that. Yes. Yep. Before I had a booth and before I did YouTube, I needed a way to I do my pieces and I needed to get them out of the house so they weren't piling up. And
Right.
so I'd stack them all up and put them in totes and go to craft fairs. And I did
Uh,
several of those around the state and did very well actually doing that. But it's a lot of work. It's very hard work. Lugging everything in, setting it all up. You're standing all day,
mhm.
meeting and greeting people, and then you got to tear it down and haul what you don't sell home. So it's a long day. It's a
Oh
long
yeah,
day.
yeah. But it can be rewarding though.
Mhm,
A lot of people, you see some of the same people coming by. Every year you see the same people coming to see because they want to see what you brought. That's got to be sort of fun too.
mhm. Oh, and I always had people standing there waiting for me to unpack, and it's like, I'm not unpacked yet. And
Okay.
they were ready to with the money to buy stuff, and it's a really great feeling. It's humbling to know that people feel that way about your projects, because this is like a therapeutic thing for me. I love getting my hands paint and sand and dirt and uh, sanding dust. I mean, sawdust and all that stuff. It's just very therapeutic, and you can just kind of lose yourself in it, and
Mhm.
then you have a beautiful piece when you're done, and it just like a butterfly, you just blossom out.
How did the business? How did you do during COVID? When everything was shut down, were you able to still continue to work pieces, or were or was it just running out of room?
Excuse me. Um, I still worked on stuff because I have stock ahead. I have a lot of stuff downstairs. I'm kind of a hoarder. A little bit, just a little. But it's just one of it was good that I had that extra stuff down there because I was able to work on it. And we didn't leave much. We stayed home most of the time, so I could work on a lot of stuff. And if I needed, uh, paints or screws or whatever, and I remember one time I was working on something in the middle of the whole thing, and I was running out of screws, and I was like, "Oh no, I need it to finish this project." And I was able to order them and have them delivered, which was a very good thing.
Uh,
But
yeah, the hoarding thing. I thought, I remember I was watching a video, and when I first heard that word, I was thinking, someone's going to get in trouble for mouthing off, and then I kept on talking, and I realized it was your rooster who was sitting there going like, yeah, yeah, he was talking trash to you. He was saying hoarding, hoarding. And I'm like, what? But
yeah,
your
he's a
rooster was
stinker.
he was very entertaining. Do you have more animals on your place other than the roosters, and they enjoy watching you work?
Yes, when I'm outside, the roosters I have two roosters, and I have 16 chickens, or hens, and they're laying like crazy right now. So we've got an overload of eggs if anybody wants any. Just kidding. I won't ship. uh, but yeah, they're great. Yeah, and we have a rabbit. We did have a dog, but she passed away just before we got sick. So when was that? In May. I think it was just in May, and she passed away. So
Yeah,
that was
you and your
hard.
husband both got really sick.
Mhm.
I was concerned because I was thinking, one person gets sick, yeah, it's bad, but you guys both got it, and you just can't help thinking like, oh man, did they get hit with COVID? It's
Mhm.
like, but
We
but
were
I'm
never
glad.
tested. We were never tested, but I'm pretty darn sure that's what we had. Yeah.
Um, now, do you sell on your property itself, or is that verboten? It's either the shop or the flea market.
Yeah, we live off grid here. The lights that you see are all battery powered. We bring the sun in and it gets stored in batteries, and so we're running on battery power right now. So it it makes it kind of difficult to have. I would love to have like a shop here or something, but I really don't. And we kind of live out in the middle of kind of in the middle of nowhere. Nobody's going to want to come out here. So that's why I travel a little ways to go to the flea market and put my stuff there. And I can sell on Facebook Marketplace and then meet people if they want to do that. But I've
Mm.
had really good luck with Etsy and the flea market, so I'm just going to keep it with that for now,
Yeah.
and uh, and see how that goes.
Yeah, let's see.
I don't have a talking rooster, man.
Uh,
He just
I
crows
don't know
a
about
lot.
that. That He was taught, maybe because I speak, like Doctor Doolittle. I don't know. That rooster was talking to me. It sounded like he was clucking up a storm.
They were completely quiet the other day when I went out and was doing my yard sale haul.
Uh-huh.
As soon as I got outside, they were both
Oh
cock-a-doodle-dooing
my
and
gosh, it was so
driving me
cute.
crazy.
It was, and the way you reacted to it too. Like, all right, I know what you're doing over there. Quiet. As soon as what's funny? 'Cause it happens to me here. It's like I'm quiet in my whole house. Once I sit in front of here and I start talking, but that's what I do these interviews.
Mhm.
then the cheetah wants to come by and make his presence known. Don't see him all day long for nothing. For
Right.
nothing, I won't see him. He'll be sleeping, eating, whatever. As soon as I start talking, all of a sudden it's coming over like, oh, yeah, all right, I'm down with it, you know.
Mhm.
Um, yeah,
Mhm.
what was it like what was it like when you sold your first piece? What was the first piece you sold? Everybody remembers that.
Well, I think it was that the first big piece, I think it was that, that yard sale that I went to from stuff out of the barn, and it was that side table that I got, and it was all, like, bird droppings and stuff. It just had been in the barn a long time, and, so I think that was my first big piece, and I like I said, I it was like, I a bug bit me, and I was just like, "Yep, I'm gonna just keep doing this because this is so much fun." It's just it's really exciting to find somebody that appreciates what you do and just can't wait to have that in there. They're gonna have that in their home, and it's just really humbling. It really is.
I take it you know when you go around, how do you decide? I mean, because I mean, I'm sure it's just based on your expertise, but how do you decide what a piece is worth? I mean, there's not like a guide or anything to it.
Mhm,
So how do you like if you came to someone's garage or a yard sale or whatnot, and you walked in there and you saw all these pieces, you know, how do you decide what is fair? Because I'm sure they would sit there and say, oh, if you want it, you know, you go ahead and take it. But knowing you as I do, I'm sure you would want to pay them something for
mhm,
their. I mean, well, how do you settle for a price? You just like
mhm,
in your head, do you calculate what you see, what it could be like, and then then subtract the price from that? I mean,
mhm,
you must see way in advance is what I'm saying, Shelly. When I
mhm,
walk up there, I see a broken cup. So I look at it as a broken cup. You're already looking at it going like, if I fill that crack up there and I paint it and I sand it and I gloss it, I mean, you're already way in advance as far as what this piece could do and what it could sell for.
mhm.
That's why I'm asking, how do you decide then to pay for it?
Well, a lot of it is experience now because I've done it for so long and sold stuff, so I know what things will sell for. But a lot of times I don't sit down and do a hard list of what everything costs. But in my head, I have a little bit of a note, a running tally of what I'm going to put into a piece. Like you're talking about the coffee cup. Now I may splash a little paint on it. And like you said, maybe glue it, maybe a little Spanish moss in there, maybe a little bird sitting in it or something, because it's not going to be used as a cup anymore. Um, but something like that would probably be $10, $12 in my booth. Now, if you went to the booth next door, they may sell it for probably 20, $25. Just, I don't know. I'm terrible at pricing my stuff. I really
Yeah,
am.
but I'll tell you one thing. I bet you sell a hell of a lot more pieces than she does.
Well, I don't know that, but I know I do pretty well.
Yeah.
I do. I
I
do. I
mean,
pay for my booth and I have a little extra to go shopping with.
Uh, now, what do you do for yourself? Do you ever do you, I mean, how like you mentioned before how hard it is to let some pieces go,
Mhm,
but what about the ones that you do end up keeping? I mean, do you rotate that out? Like, let's say you had a piece for 4 years and you found this new piece. Do you rotate them out, or you keep what you got and and just see where the spirit takes you?
mhm. Well, it depends on where it comes from. If
Mm.
I have a lot of friends that give me pieces, and sometimes it's sentimental value, so I'll keep it. And they tell me, do whatever you want with it, paint it, sell it, keep it, whatever you decide. And sometimes I have pieces of friends that have they've given things to me, and I keep them for a while. And then maybe I'll say, well, it's time to kind of transition that out and put something else in. So things live here for a while, and then they eventually will move on.
I do people ever come back to you and show you pictures of where your piece ends up in their home?
Oh yes. Oh, I love that on Instagram. I yes. When I sell things on Etsy, they'll send me a picture, and it's so cool to see. the piece in there, and they just say, "I love it. It looks so good where I put it." And yeah,
Yeah.
it's again, I
Well,
mean, the only word that I can think of is it's just humbling. It just makes you feel
all that
good.
hard work is worth it.
Mhm. Mhm.
What's been your favorite piece that you've restored?
Oh, good question. What is my favorite piece? Um, I've got a clock that my mom gave me, like a tall, like it looks like a grandfather clock, but it's not an old one. I redid that and I took all the innards out and I put shells in it. So I really like that piece. I still have that. And I have some pieces. My in-laws are both passed away, and they had some wooden sconces and things like that in their home, and a tray that because my father-in-law is very into woodworking. So he made a tray, and I've kept some of those, and I've painted a few things that they had. And so those are sentimental stuff. Those are my favorite.
It's I think I would think that, what you do and how you do it, I think I think anybody who does that, I think eventually would become sentimental. I don't
Hmm.
see how you could do it and not develop a relationship between you and the piece that you're restoring.
Hmm.
It's not it's I know may it sound sort of funny to some people, but I just sense that. I mean, it's like, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna like it's like a man with a car, when they're putting it in together and putting the engine in together and you hear fire for the first time. A guy will tell you how sweet it sounds, like, oh,
Hmm.
that's awesome. And I think to me, it's in a way, this is the same sort of emotion, like, I'm getting this piece, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna fix it, I'm taking all this work, and it means so much. Um,
Hmm.
what's been the have you ever been hurt on doing this? You ever sustained any injuries?
Oh, slivers and
Uh,
things like that, but, when I'm doing woodworking and, um, not really, not really. I try to play it safe.
right, right,
Mhm.
right. Now, now you had now do you sell your pieces throughout the United States? I mean, people wanna buy something from you. Can they just order it through? How do they get a hold of you? Through Facebook, or because you have a Facebook page,
Yep.
or you have, or your Etsy shop? I have to get that from you. I don't have that. I have to put that
Mhm.
in the description box.
Yep.
Um, but how do people find you if they wanna, if I'm in Michigan, so if I wanted to find a piece of yours to buy, what would be the best way for me to do it?
Well, you can go to Etsy. Pipberries and Burlap is the name of my shop, and you could purchase things through there. I've had people email me after I do my thrift hauls and my yard sale hauls, and they'll email me at repurposedmyway@gmail.com, and they will say, "I really loved whatever such and such, and can I buy that from you?" And so what I do is I add it to Etsy just because it's easier because um, they do all the shipping and everything for me, and they just pay through Etsy and do it that way. But I give you the link and everything. So, but yeah, email or if Facebook Messenger, I'm everywhere.
Uh, uh, what's some of your material that you like working with best? I mean, what kind of pieces do you like working with? It wood? Is it metal? Is it
Mhm.
organic? Is it what kind of materials do you like working with the most?
Uh, well, I love working with scrap wood. My husband works for a place where I can get scrap wood pretty inexpensively by the pallet. So I usually will do that and just stack it up in the corner. And when I find pieces that patterns and things like that, I will, um, cut them out and do stuff with that. That's something I really love doing, working with the wood.
I can see that. I can see that. And the material that you're least favorite of probably would be like the metal, that's like tin or sheet metal or
Sheet metal, it stinks. Yeah, yeah. I love the look of it when you can get it, but it's such a hard material to work with That, and I've done a lot with chicken wire, anything that's sharp and pointy and things like, yeah, that's the
Now,
hard
now
stuff.
you started your. When did you start your YouTube channel?
Repurposed My Way. I think I'm into it. I think oh geez. I think it'll be 3 years this fall. I th-
3.
I think it's three. And then my other channel, we've had that one for four. It'll be four the end of July.
The other one, that's your personal one,
Well,
or
it's our off-grid channel, so we do a lot
oh,
of
right, yeah,
homesteading and
yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that. Yeah,
I guess you gotta.
off-grid.
Do you find that bleeds over? Like, do they cross over? Like, people find your they find your off the grid channel, and they turn around and they find the repurposed channel. Does that
Mhm,
feed off each other?
I've had some people, I've mentioned it and that I have another channel depending on where I am, and I've said that I have it. Yeah. Yeah, and I've had people come over. Yeah.
Um, what led you to go off grid? Well, what year? I mean, how long have you lived off grid?
Well, let's see. We've been here, this is 8 years now. Our kids grew up, moved out, moved away, got married, did their thing, and we just wanted to move out of town. We weren't in town, like in town, but we were close enough, so we wanted to move out and do something different. And in searching around, we found this place, and my husband said, "You know, I've always wanted to live off grid." And I said, "Well, let's go check it out. We'll see if we can do it." And so we came and checked it out, and luckily we had some friends that knew how to set things up because it was a it was a bank owned home. The people that owned it before couldn't keep it, so it kind of sat here for 4 years with nobody living in it. So the batteries and everything were taken out of it, so they just had to we got new batteries, and we had to hook everything up and make sure everything worked and learn how to use it.
Right, right. I mean, is it more difficult during the winter than during the summer and spring?
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, I bet. How long does it take for the conserve? I mean, that means obviously is winter the time that you go dormant as far as repurposing? Do you go quiet during the winter months because of the energy it would take, or
No, we have a generator for backup. So if we get low on power, we can pop that on and I can work all day, all night, whenever I want. And that will also, it charges the batteries also while it's running. So I can do laundry, I can vacuum and do dishes and also do my my crafting.
now I take it that's important that you have a little bit of a clearing so the sun can hit your
Mhm.
house. I mean, trees are a bit of a distraction, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Same thing with me. My house is so weird. It's like I don't get the sun like I used. I don't get the sun like everybody else does. Like
Oh.
I'm the yeah. It's like everybody else gets the full sun and I don't. It's just because of the way the house is situated.
Mhm.
Um, Wow, was it hard for you to adjust to that? Both you and your husband. I mean, it's one thing to say that, but it's another thing to do it. What kind of experiences did you have as far, now you said you were doing it 8 years ago, so is this 2 years into you doing your crafting business
Mhm.
where you have full power. Then you had to switch over to off the grid. I mean,
Mhm.
that must have taken some adapting to.
It was, yeah, it did. We moved in here in January in Maine, so it was snowy, it was cold, and we had no power, no water, no nothing. So we were melting snow on our wood stove because that's how we heat. Um, excuse me. Yeah, I just lost track for a second there. But we moved in here and it did take an adjustment for sure. The power consumption, you have to be careful. You have to watch how much you pull your batteries down because they're not like a cell phone battery where they tell you to pull it all the way down, your battery all the way down and then charge it up. These have to stay at a uh, certain charge all the time. So if you get below that, you've got to be very careful. So a lot of times in the wintertime, I use the generator if I'm going to do anything with power tools or anything like that. We switched over to a lot of battery power tools, um, a lot of Milwaukee tools and things like that. So that
Right.
helped a lot, but it definitely was an adjustment.
Yeah. The Milwaukee tools are really good. The
Mhm.
Ryobi ones are not so good.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In case you go to the depot. Um, yeah. Uh, uh, yeah. I recognized the depot in one of your videos. I'm like, oh, okay, I know that one. Okay. Yep. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, uh, Good place to go to. Uh, But as far as Maine goes, I mean, now you said that you moved in out of town, out to the woods. Now, had you had any other friends, personal friends that were, were they able to walk you through? Like you find yourself stuck in the middle of the night, going like, "What am I going to do?" And then
Mhm.
reach out reach out and say, what happened? I mean, what's the worst scenario that has happened to you and your husband? Has it been being snowed in, or is that the biggest fear, or is forest fire the biggest fear?
Uh, well, ice, actually, believe it or not. Our driveway is very long, and we have a big hill just before our house. So the second winter we were here, we got ton of snow, and it got really cold, and then we got rain, and it got really cold, and it iced over the whole hill. And we didn't know that we should have been plowing it as often as we should have been. And we let the snow build up on it, and the sun did not melt it because it's not out very much in the wintertime. And it got glare ice, and we couldn't drive up here. So we were on our hands and knees crawling up the hill to get to our house a few
Oh,
times. So yeah, the ice is definitely, we've had several ice storms and things like that. But I mean, we've sometimes been sitting here and all of a sudden the power just goes out and we can't just call the energy, we call it CMP, whoever you guys have, the energy people, to come fix it. They don't work on solar. So it's something we had to learn to fix on our own. And luckily, yes, we did have a couple friends that we had one in particular that came and stayed here and hooked up all of our batteries because there's lots of cables and ins and outs. And he did that for us and taught us a lot of stuff about it. And the one thing is, it's like a bank. You put your money in or your power into those batteries, but you don't want to drain them all the way out. So any money that goes into that bank, you want to make, or comes out of the bank, you want to make sure that you refill it. Um,
right.
so that's just how we explain it to a lot of people that don't understand.
Uh, that's fascinating. I had no idea until now. That's just makes it even
Yep.
more amazing. You can do what you do with with the resources that you have. Um, So why YouTube? What made you decide to join YouTube? Had you heard about it as far as it being a good place to do a business out of? Was it better than what has Instagram helped you at all as well? I mean, has Instagram or Facebook helped you as much as YouTube channel has?
I think they both have helped me. The reason why, because of what I do, which is more primitive decor, I went on YouTube and there wasn't a lot of people that did it. I didn't see a lot of what I like to do. And I thought, maybe I could show people some of my techniques and what I do and just kind of see what we can do, what I can show for people and kind of encourage people and inspire maybe. And I put out the first video and got some pretty good views. And I don't know, I'm just want to help people make their own decor that maybe can't do it on their, can't buy what in the stores because sometimes they're expensive, like Hobby Lobby. I mean, they have sales and stuff, but yeah. So,
Uh, let's see. Oh, I'm sorry. We have a question. I totally got zoned in with
oh,
you. It happens to me. I get target fixated whenever I have a really cool guest. So I just ignore I just the chat. But let me go back and
okay.
ask some of these questions here.
I didn't see it
I I,
either.
I see. I did tell them
Excuse me.
that we're gonna have a great show tonight. I said that it's gonna be awesome. I've been looking forward to this since you and I did it.
Mhm.
Agree to this. Um, Says Mayanth asking you, do you have a favorite piece or something near to your heart that she's ever made? you have anything like that that you could show us? Something that means a lot to you,
Um,
besides
I
the
don't
rooster?
I don't have anything here. I don't have anything right handy, no.
Okay.
All I can say is, like I said before, there's a lot of sentimental pieces that came from my in-laws that because my father-in-law was a woodworker. So we acquired a lot of his pieces, and some of them I've kept the way he did them, and some of them I've done in my own decor. But I know that that's something that he made with his hands. So it's more sentimental to me if it's somebody that I loved that did it. Um, so I don't know if that answers your question. I hope it
Yeah,
does.
I do have this one. Did you build your chicken cage? Your hen house? Did you build your hen house?
No, that's a part of a shed, but I did build the wall so that I could have part of it for the chickens
Mhm.
and part of it for like their feed and things like that on the other side. So yeah, I did do that. And I did put up their run, which is just a cover it that you get from like Tractor Supply. It's one of those domed, canvas covers.
Right.
And I did put that up for them so they'd have a place inside in the wintertime to hang out.
Um,
So
do you name them?
my chickens, well, actually, yes, mostly my husband does. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What? You
Yeah.
that's you're okay. So we have to tell this already. Listen, listen, guys, guys. We may come across as being knotheads and masculine and macho, but man, we are wusses when it comes down to that sort of. Why am I not surprised? That's yeah, because they tell you never name, especially an animal like a chicken or a cow or a pig. Don't never name them because once you do, that'll be it. You'll have them for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
Um, that's funny. What kind of names did he give them?
Oh, well, I have a rooster that's a big white rooster, and he said, he's big like a Yeti, and so that name stuck. So his name's Yeti. We have some buffs, so that's the color of them. They're kind of like a blonde color.
Okay.
And he called one's Buffy, one's Fluffy, and I don't know. You can't tell them apart, but
Uh-huh.
you know, I don't know.
That's
And
awesome.
I let my granddaughter name one. She said, "Oh, what's that one's name?" I said, "It doesn't have a name. What do you want to name it?" And she said, I think ice cream. So we have one out there that's called ice cream too. And it's stuff.
That's so cool. And I bet you if they call them by their names, they come to you too. Chickens,
They when they see us, they come running anyway. They're very social birds, so they love
yeah,
to be around. Yeah,
that's
be
so
around
much
us.
fun. That is so much fun.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, let me tell this right now before I do this all over again. But if
Okay.
you have any questions for our guest, either about repurposing, either repurposing an item, or if you want to, ask her about any of her techniques, by all means do
Yeah.
so. Were you
Ask me
surprised
the
to see how
burning
fast?
question.
Yeah, burning questions. Were you surprised how fast your YouTube channel grew? Because you mentioned something that I did, I mentioned as well, and that is I've been on YouTube going on 3 years this month. July 20th will be my 3-year anniversary. But have never seen anybody do a repurpose channel other than you. I've seen beauty channels, I've seen makeup
Mhm.
channels, I've seen, like unboxings and all that others, off the grid. I've seen preppers. In fact,
Mhm.
I'm surprised Waffles isn't here. Um,
Mhm.
I've seen prepper, I've seen all those different channels, but I had never seen any channel until I saw yours, Shelley, that did repurposing. Has that grown since she started? Have you noticed that?
Oh,
Mm,
yes, definitely. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
um,
definitely. I think a lot of people may have started around the same time I did, or just after. Maybe I inspired them. I don't know. That would be cool to think that I did. But yeah, it did grow fairly fast because a lot of people said, there's nobody out there that does what you do. I've
mhm,
been looking and there's nobody that does it. There are a few more people that have popped on now, which is great because then it gives us all something to talk about and watch and learn from. So, mm,
Is it? Do you find yourself, do you find yourself caught in a catch 22 in a way, like you want to show what you do at the same time, you're like a magician. You don't want to reveal all your secrets. Like, like I'll show you to a certain point, and there's certain things I won't show because you want to keep it to yourself. Propriety information, so to speak.
mhm.
Do you ever find yourself holding back on anything that you might be working on because you're thinking like, I don't really want to do that.
Mhm. Um, Maybe not in what I do, but where I get some of my supplies,
Mm, yeah,
just
is that
because
the, is that-
I don't want them to. I mean, I want the companies to do well, but if there's only one place I can get a certain supply, I don't want everybody buying it up. But not really
uh,
a lot.
well, is there a lot of people? Is there a lot of people around you? I mean, I know you mentioned the flea market. Are there a lot of people besides that do repurposing? I mean, you mentioned your next door neighbor, but are there other people out there doing what you're doing?
Um, I th- well, I think so. By the looks of the flea markets, there are some people that do. There are some people that just shop like the Goodwills and the yard sales, and they take that stuff and they put it in their booth. But there are a few people that repurpose and do beautiful, beautiful work. I'm just in awe and inspired by a lot of them, and it's really good stuff. Yeah.
Were you surprised to see how fast people embraced what you did? I mean, your channel it's huge. You're almost at 9,000 subs.
I
That's
don't know
that's
about huge, but
well,
I mean, just having one person watch and be interested in what I do is
you have
just
a lot
it's
more than that.
wonderful.
I was pretty much surfing around on your channel all day today, and I was just like blown away with all the engagement. Um,
Mhm.
I don't know where they're at tonight, but
I don't
anyway,
know. I put it out there, but
I don't. You know what? Have you noticed that? Have you when you do a live stream or what have you, do you get good engagement during your lives, or do people just come and, like you said, when they come and just watch your haul or your work videos?
mhm.
I,
Yeah, I've noticed on the other channel too when we did lives, it was always usually afterwards. We'd get a few people watching, but and engaging with us on the live, but it was a lot of views after the live was over. So,
and then people start asking you all the questions.
mhm.
Wow,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yep.
fun.
Yep.
I think you have I think you have a great business.
Oh, thanks.
I think you
Thank
have a great business. I love the attitude. I love I think it's so much fun. Um, and I like the way you're matter of fact. You tell it like it is.
Mhm.
Um, what would you tell someone if they were just starting out, as they said, Shelly, I want to start repurposing like you do. Um, what are some of the things that you would tell them that they should start thinking about?
Um, what's your style? What do you like? What do you find yourself if you're watching, like if you watch YouTube, who are you finding that you watch a lot? What's the colors that you're thinking of? Um, like Farmhouse has a lot of whites and grays and lighter colors, lighter greens and blues and things like that. Primitive is more darker colors. You got your blacks and your burgundies and your mustard colors and things like that, and everything's distressed and rusty and rustic. So you got to find your style first, and there's no saying that you can't mix the two, or mix different styles together. There's so many that you could do that with, um, and just find what you want to do and just start. You got to just jump into it. Find a color and just in a piece that you want to paint, even if it's in your own home. Um, just grab something that you're like, I'm not really in love with this anymore. Take it, paint it, see what happens. I mean, what's the worst going to happen? You have to repaint it or donate it to Goodwill.
Um, in some of in the places that the best places to find materials, have you found to be more as yard sales versus thrift stores? Thrift stores seem to be very expensive these days.
Yeah.
And you don't necessarily see things like, like I can see things at Goodwill, but I don't really, that you could use, but I really don't see things like a Salvation Army that you could use. Am I
Mhm.
wrong on
The prices are pretty crazy. So you have
that?
to, I'm a little more selective about what I buy just because I have such a buildup of stuff already. So if it's expensive, I'm like, you know what? Either I can build it myself or I'll just wait until it's on sale and I'll come get it. But this time of year is a great time because of your yard sales and your estate sales. Estate sales, I don't shop them because we don't have them a lot around here. Uh, and just something about going into people's homes, I just feel really weird about. That's just me. I mean, nothing against
No, no,
people that do.
no, you.
Yeah.
I've been to a few estate sales, and like to me, it's like I was watching you, going around, and I just wanted, because I've mentioned this many times about yards, about estate sales, and the rule number one about ever going inside of an estate sale is you never negotiate.
Hmm.
Whatever they listed for, that's the price you pay. Don't
Yeah.
don't be that person to try to go out there and negotiate. It's
Hmm.
distasteful. I mean, it's distasteful.
Unless it's unless it's a 3-day sale and you're on the third day and they just wanted to get rid of stuff, and a lot
Yeah,
of times they'll mark things down.
yeah. If they mark it down, but a lot of times people will come in there and they walk in there in the first day and they're already negotiating. It's just like
Mhm.
that's why I never had an estate sale. I didn't have
Right.
one.
Yep.
No,
Yard sales are great though, because
there's
you can go in and look around and see if there's a lot of things that you want. If there is, you can bundle. Bundling is a great. And that's just like you look at them and you say, "Can I start a pile somewhere?" And you start a pile and you just start putting stuff in it. And then instead of them individually pricing everything, they'll just, you just say, "What do you want for all of this?" And they'll give you a blanket price of whatever that is. And it's usually a better deal than your individual prices. So.
right, and because of your skill. I mean, like I said, when I was mentioning that earlier about you already know. See, I would have a piece. I'd be bundling it up, and I'd be going like, "What? Okay, well, I got this and this and this and this," and you're already in your head. You're already going like, "Okay, I know what I'm doing with that piece. I already know what I'm doing with that piece. I already know what
Mhm.
to do with that piece. You already figured it out. So
Well,
when you
or
come up
yeah,
there,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's a really positive skill to have. Through a year's experience. What are some of the common mistakes that someone that those repurposing do? What are some of the things they shouldn't do uh,
Hmm.
besides overprice?
Oh, as far as pricing goes, well, if you're planning on reselling something and you buy, you know how overpricing works. I'm not going to explain that, but you're just not going to make, if you're looking to make money on it, you're not going to make the money that you need. If you're looking to just pay for your materials, your paint and your materials that you use, fine. And then you can go take that and go out and buy another piece, but you're not paying yourself, which is part of my problem. I don't pay myself to do these because a lot of times, like I said, it's therapy for me. So,
You mentioned that before. Can we
yeah.
ask you what the therapy is about? I mean, was it something in your past?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I have PTSD, but I don't really want to discuss
No,
it.
no, no,
But,
no. You just
um,
mentioned it, like, okay,
it does it just kind of puts you your mind on something else that you can focus on that's good, that's positive and inspiring. And doing the YouTube channel is really helps too, because when you get those comments when people just say, "I just love that piece," and you just think about the time that you put into that piece and the thoughts that you had that just kind of drifted away while you did it, it really makes it worthwhile.
and to be fair to you, Shelley, to be fair to you, since I did, this is also therapy for me doing this. So
Yeah.
you're not alone. So I wanted you to know that.
Mhm.
I'm sorry about asking. I didn't want to pry into that,
Oh, no,
but I
no.
so
Completely fine. Completely fine.
um, let's see. All right. What questions? Okay, what questions do we got? Echo saying that. Okay, Sarah is here. Sarah is a movie collector, and she is also looks for movies for her collection. So she likes to go
Okay.
to places for bargains too.
Uh-huh.
She goes to Walmart, Goodwill's, Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, Dollar General, Best Buy, and Amazon. Sarah
Uh-huh.
goes to a lot of places. I go to the library. Let's see. Let's see. Echo saying they have a video rental store here. Wow. You know, if you can get that video rental store plus your antique magazine rack, we could go back to the 50s right here, right now.
Right.
Yeah. Our friend Anna is here. Hi, Anna. I'm so glad you stayed with us. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
See, Sarah's also mentioning Big Lots. That does seem to be, you know what? Let's talk a little bit about some of the bigger chain stores that you go to. Now,
Mhm.
we talked about all the good, you know, the Goodwill, the Salvation Army, and you know
Home
whatnot.
Depot.
But
Yeah.
what I mean, what chain stores are there out there that you go to? Um, I mean, I'm sure. Have you ever bought a piece like from something like Hobby Lobby, and you saw it and you go like, you know, I could probably do something with that and maybe double the price. Is that a play that you do once in a while, or is that just really not a good thing to do?
No, no, no. I like the secondhand stuff. I like the secondhand stuff, and it's even the prices, even once they're marked down at like a Hobby Lobby, is still expensive to
Yeah,
me for what I
yeah.
sell my stuff for. Um, so yeah, when I go into Hobby Lobby, it's more for materials. I go in for burlap, for ribbon, for fabric that I need for my different projects, uh, uh, glue, twine. Like I go in for that kind of thing. I don't usually go in for the big stuff. Not even for the decor. I don't know. I may have bought like battery candles before or something in there, but really, nope.
Um, Anna,
Everything I just love everything secondhand.
Anna says that Shelley sounds like me. You know, I think we all are like that. I'm like that too. I go to the library to look for my movies. I mean, it's hard as hell. I mean, do you
Mhm.
find it now when you go to these big stores, you look at what's there and you go like, hell no, I can get this for a lot cheaper somewhere else.
Yes,
And so,
or
it sort of
I can make it for less.
right, it sort of takes the joy
Sometimes.
out, you know, like you want to go window shopping and you
Yep.
just walk in there, you just look around and go like, man, there's just
Mhm,
nothing in here I even want to, you know, I don't even want to splurge. I
mhm,
can't, I mean, it's almost like the best thing that you could do when you build stuff by your own hands. It kills the impulse gene when you go shopping. You go
mhm,
there and go like, oh yeah, I can get that, but 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 you won't because you've already, you know, you're like, I don't need to do that because
mhm.
I'm doing it myself.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
Echo
I was
saying
gonna
that
say
he
I'm a lot like I think Echo, is that her name?
Uh,
Echo? I'm a lot like Echo. I like hunting for the lowest prices.
yes.
That's
Yeah.
what I like to do. That's part of the whole thing is the thrill of finding the best deals.
Shelley could be a movie collector. I'm telling you, you would walk inside our you could be you could you were honor we're making Shelley an honorary film community member tonight,
All right.
right here, right now. Because
Oh,
we're all like that. We're all
yeah,
looking for the best price.
of
Uh,
course, why not? Especially
so,
nowadays.
yes. Sarah mentions that in Florida, her brother's ex-wife is cleaning out her house. Used to be a sister-in-law. Okay, that's one way of getting things is through secondhand
Yep.
to people donating things to you. Yeah,
Mhm,
that happened to me and my buddy Catfish. His family, um, his family gave me his collection. You know, when the time was right, and
mhm.
yeah, I get that. Last round of questions for our guest before we let her go. Let's see. Echo
I get a
saying
lot of I get a lot of people cleaning out their closets, and they'll message me and say, "Hey, I've got some goodies out of my closet. Do you want them?" And they know what I like. They know what I do. So a lot of times they'll say, "Yep, sight unseen." And I grab it, and it's wonderful stuff usually.
that's
So
amazing.
yeah.
That's amazing. Echo says he used to make walking sticks. He would walk around and find parts of trees laying around. He picked them up and would turn them into a walking stick.
Oh
I would, I
yeah.
would, I would wood burn and paint them. That's very
Oh,
cool.
nice. Oh,
Man,
that's awesome.
we have to fire up Echo and get him to do that again. Because you know what, I would love to see what he could create.
Mhm.
I would love to see what he could create.
I bet those are beautiful.
I
Yeah.
bet you they are too. I
Yeah.
bet they are too, especially the heavy woods, the oak, the ones that
Mhm.
you're both walking, and if someone wants to be nasty to you, you could pop them on their brain.
Exactly.
Mhm. He's got
Uh,
two of his old sticks left somewhere. We'll try to get you to take a picture of that Echo, and then we'll send it on to Shelly. Shelly, I want to thank you so much for coming out and hanging out with us tonight. I had such a blast. This
Thank you
is
for
so
having
worth
me.
it. This is so worth it. It was such a fun time talking to you.
Yeah, you
Um,
too.
I'm looking forward to coming over and hanging out and meeting some of your friends and your community because I'm sure there's a lot of creatives over there. Just based on what I've seen, and I enjoyed it. I sort of sorry. I was hoping for a couple of friends would come today. I was hoping my friend Suzanne would come and my friend Jennifer would come, but they'll have to catch the replay.
Yep.
I'm going to put all
Yep.
your socials and your Etsy store address. I'm going to put that all down in the description box, and
Okay.
then I put Shelly's YouTube channel right above. So if you haven't subscribed to her, please do so. Her channel's listed right there above. Please do though. Please do that. Help her and drop a comment. Tell her that the Cheetah sent you, and we'll get her going to 9,000. God, can you believe that? Did you think she ever hit 9,000?
No, I can't. I was at 300 for the longest time, and I was happy with that. And then it just started to go crazy, and I just don't know what to say about that. But what a wonderful bunch of people. I mean, part of YouTube isn't just making the videos and creating for people. You get the wonderful feedback, and the same people come back, and you get to know them because they tell you stories about, you know, different things, and it's really a great community. It really is.
Well, thank you for letting us come inside your community for a night. And
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate being here and everybody that's here with us.
uh, all right, boys and girls, we will be back tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow for two shows. Tomorrow we will be here at 2 o'clock. We'll be welcoming in the cast and crew of the fan film Friday the 13th, Origins of Evil. Are you a
Mhm.
big Friday the 13th fan?
Oh, I've seen some. I've
Really?
seen some of
So,
the
so,
original. Yep.
so Jason's sort of your jam a little bit.
Well, I mean, yeah, years ago. I don't watch that stuff much anymore, but
Oh no.
I'm too
What do,
busy
what do you wa-
crafting.
what do you watch now?
I watch a lot of YouTube.
A lot of YouTube.
I'm not
Yeah,
on TV I don't watch TV very much, but
yeah. I was gonna say
I
not. What happened to HGTV? Now it's just
yep,
like
yep.
God.
I like HGTV. I like what do I watch on TV? I just don't even know. I watch a lot of whatever my husband's watching, so
Yeah.
whatever that is.
Well, we will be talking to the cast and crew of Friday the 13th, Origins of Evil. That will be at 2 p.m. And then at 8 p.m., me and the mighty Echo Zero, he and I will be here tomorrow night at 8 o'clock with our guest Carissa Grant, who is a freelance comic uh, comic book creator. She draws and creates her own comic books,
Ooh.
and she will be here with us tomorrow night for the House of Horrors episode 118, me and Echo Zero. And there might be some cocaine cougar talk too. We'll see. Thanks for coming out and stay right where you're at for a minute, Shelly. And then for everybody else, I'm going to say good night. Thanks for coming and see you for the next one.
Thank
Peace.
you. Bye bye.